All right, it's Bill here. Here's my thoughts on the Leafs off season so far, if it's even an off season. I've kind of delayed doing this video for a while because, frankly, I'm still pissed. I'm mad. I hate the team. Now, you'd be surprised as me as a Leaf fan. Yes, I've struggled through many bad seasons in the 80s and even in the Mike Murphy 90s before Pat Quinn, between the two Pats. But I'm still, I hate what's happened to this team. And we'll go into some of the things that are going on. But, I wanted to get this video out before the Stanley Cup final starts, where I'll be the biggest Florida Panthers fan you've ever met, because if you're a Leaf fan, you realize that there's only one Canadian team, and that's the Toronto Maple Leafs, unfortunately for us. So I will cheer Florida on. I hate every other Canadian team. So go Panthers go, if you can believe I'm saying that. But anyways, let me talk. Let's start off with all this nonsense. You had the player interviews. I'm not even going to talk about the player interviews. Passengers and Mitch Marner hadn't talked to his wife yet. Man, this guy's got a fascination with his wife. Boitano's got a fascination. I haven't even thought about leaving Toronto yet. Bullshit. My initials, bud. BS. You've been talking about it for 5 years. So here's the first narrative starts off. It's the fans' fault. Can you believe it's the fans' fault? It's our fault as fans. We care about the team. I got to understand, what is the people in Manchester United or Liverpool? Like, they got way more fans than the Toronto. What do the Yankees do? The pressure, this extreme pressure. When you have other teams apologizing for your fans, that's insane. That's on a different level of inept. That's on a way different level of inept. The fans, the people that cared. Do you know who didn't care about? I never heard about the Toronto Maple Leaf fans being a problem until these pansies like Boitano and came along. Until the Shanna plan started. I've never heard of the Leaf fans being a problem. The 80s, we had to suffer through Miroslav Frichers, the Dan Daouz, the Peter and Miroslav Inicek, the Inicek boys. But we had players like Clark, like Stumpy the first time, Stumpy Thomas, like Motor City Smitty, Brad Smith, like even Brad Marsh, even though, come on. We had people that worked their asses off. That's what the Leaf fans are, blue-collar fans. That's what we are. When we see pansies doing pirouettes on the ice and pucks going off people's asses, and Morgan Reilly not showing up for the 55th time, we're going to get pissed because we demand more out of you. There was some quote, a friend of mine, George Walker. George and Vera, if you're watching, how you doing? They said they're not afraid to lose. That's what this culture was. These interviews afterwards, they're a pain in the ass. They just piss you off even more. But then it gets into it. You got Keith Pelly. Starts off. Keith Pelly, you know what he is? Like, this guy makes Richard Petty's ego look normal. Like, this guy's got an ego on him he needs to shut the hell up. You know what he looks like? He looks like if, like, Philip Seymour Hoffman had, like, a love child with Billie Jean King. That's what he looks like. Talking about his son at the game. I'm supposed to believe you had a conversation with your son about pressure. Are you? Am I that dumb? Are we that stupid? You made it up, bud. Now, I'm glad you didn't wear your multicolored glasses. You only wore your blue ones today. And you talk about letting Shanahan go. Shanna plan. I'll get into the Shanna plan in just a second. But before you do that, you got to talk about golf. The Euro Golf Tour. Like, that's got to be tough to run, bud. Real tough to run a effing golf tour. This guy's proud because he had a golf tour. Or the Ryder Cup team. You had nothing to do with the Ryder Cup team. You know who had something to do with the Ryder Cup team? Rory McIlroy. Whoever played on the goddamn team. Sepp Straka. I forget who played. What is a guy with blue glasses, Billie Jean King looking MFer, have anything to do with a Ryder Cup team? Matter of fact, he was the cap. He's proud that he put this. He's got to tell me about his team. He's got to tell me about how great at golf. He just loves golf. The questions had nothing to do with golf. Now he lets Shanahan go. Well done, idiot. You're about 5 years too late, but I can't blame you for the 5 years too late. But I can blame you for a year too late. Because remember, last year, you hadn't been here long enough. You hadn't been here long enough to see what a pansy Boitano is. You hadn't been here long enough to know that John T can't skate. You hadn't been here long enough to know, what, nothing? He yips and he yaps. The only thing about this, he had more challenge with that friggin' water bottle in his press conference than Marner does about going in the corner. You can't even open a water bottle, bud? A water bottle. Maybe if you were on the Europe tour, you'd have someone done screw it for you. One of the questions that was asked, and again, I don't know who these friggin' interviewers are. You should say, do you know you're inept? That should be the question. Do you know Leafs fans are pissed? Because you let Shanaplan do another year of damage to us? No. The questions were, what did Brandon do that was so bad? What did Brandon do that was so bad? I'm going to go off on Brendan Shanahan here. Okay? There was the Shanaplan. When did he join? 2014? Every effing analyst is telling me that he stuck to his plan too long. Are you effing kidding me? You must be kidding me, right? He didn't stick to his plan. The plan was, at the time, the way I understood the plan. Now, whether it was right or wrong, I was kind of excited that there was a strategy. His strategy was to get young and skilled and fast. Look at what they got. Kasperi Kapanen, Andreas Johansson. They drafted Dermott. They drafted Marner. They drafted Nylander over Nick Ritchie. They went skilled and skate. That was the plan, whether we liked it or not. That was the plan. All right, we'll stick to our plan. And then in 2018, he went and got the slowest forward in the league and paid him an exorbitant amount of money in Johnny Tay. Shanaplan died that day because he didn't stick to the strategy. Yes, he babied these guys. It was a friggin' clubhouse. Maybe it's like the European tour. You got little water bottles. Guys, don't worry about it. Let's talk to people. Let's figure out, what we can do to make your life the easiest to be in a Leaf. Oh, and then they talked about all the stuff he did with the alumni. Great, did stuff with the alumni. As a fan, do you give a rat's ass about the alumni? I do. I'm glad that they came back. I'm glad Keon came back, all that good stuff. That's great. Thank you. But you just made this team worse. You took over when it was bad. I got it. There was one time, I'll tell you a funny story. I used to work downtown at this place called Water Park Place. And to get there after the GO train, you had to walk through at the time it was called the Air Canada Centre. You had to walk through, we're not inside the Air Canada Centre, but it's kind of like a walkway going past. And I walked right past Dave Nonis. And Dave Nonis had his head down and he didn't look like a very happy camper. Now, I didn't say anything to him, but he walked past me, and a week later he was fired. So that's probably why he walked with his head down. All right. You bring in Lou Lamoriello, you do all this kind of stuff, you start your Shanaplan. You draft Nylander over Ritchie, good move. That was actually a very good move. Even you could argue getting Marner instead of Hanifin. Okay. But the Johnny Tay, it died that day and you were playing catch up. Here's the reason why Shanaplan has been such a disgraceful. He's not even good. Like, people are giving him credit for being good. He's a disgraceful management. Maybe I'm really having an honest discussion with myself. Who's worse, him or John Ferguson Jr.? Because it's close. His asset management is so piss poor. It can't be worse. I would ask anybody. I know people make fun of a lot of GMs. I'm going to give you a list of names that the Leafs received zero assets for. Zero. They walked for free. For free. Not traded, not even a little draft pick, not even a 7th round pick. They went for free. Tyler Bozak. Jake Gardner, who, by the way, was terrible. But you at least could have got something for him. An effing 4th round pick. Frederik Andersen. Leo Komarov. Jack Campbell. You couldn't have traded him at one point. JVR. Zach Hyman. You know why we couldn't sign Jack Hyman or Zach Hyman? Because we signed a John Tay. And you signed Mitch Marner for effing too much. You gave in to all these little babies. You created your little golf clubhouse, and that's what you get. Carter Verhaeghe was traded for nothing. A 7th round pick. We had, if you can believe it, we had Evan Rodriguez for a half second. Well, Andreas Johansson was traded for nothing, really. TJ Brody. Jared McCann. Nothing. We lost him for nothing. A 30-goal score. Gone. Nothing. Justin Hall, you can argue, but they still got nothing. Mikheyev. Michael Bunting. Bertuzzi. Dakota Joshua we had. Nothing. We got nothing for him. Nick Foligno. And now Mitch Marner. Of all the people I just named, mate, you could put I'm going to get you into the trades in just a second. You got nothing. That's the worst asset management ever. So of course this guy should have been fired, but he should have been fired a long, long, long time ago. So now I'm going to give you hero cookies because you got rid of this guy finally? Save your goddamn hero cookie. Trades. We traded David Clarkson and $7 million for nothing. If anyone remembers, we got back Nathan Horton, but his contract wasn't insured. So we got rid of David Clarkson for nothing. $7 million basically we paid in cash. We traded Peter Mrazek, who was signed in a stupid deal. We'll get into the signings in just a second. And a 1st-round pick for a 2nd-round pick. So we basically gave a better pick. We gave Mrazek away for free plus. We got rid of Nikita Zaitsev. Horrible. That was under Shanahan. And we had to give up Connor Brown with him. See you later, Connor. How's Connor doing? How's Zach Hyman doing? Oh, they're in the Stanley Cup final? Where's Carter Verhaeghe? Oh, is he in the final too? Rodriguez, where's he? In the final? Nothing for these guys. Patrick Marleau, in what is the worst thing I've ever seen, we gave up him for free, plus we gave them Seth Jarvis. Seth Jarvis and Patrick Marleau for nothing. If anyone had made that move, they'd be fired immediately. And you want to know why we had to give up Seth Jarvis? Because we had no money to sign Johnny Day! Mason Marchment for Dennis Malgin. I'm not lying here. I'm going to save the 2 other trades for just a second because I've got to talk about Treliving ding, 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 too. You want to know why Shanahan just got fired? That's why. There's no other executive that could do exactly what I just told you what happened and get away with it. We had a chance to trade the Mitchie Boitano, and we fired Dubas instead, who, by the way, used Shanahan like a friggin' mat and got a better deal with Pittsburgh. So Shanahan can't even outplay Kyle Dubas. Shanahan was a disaster, and it's way too late. So now I'm not going to give a hero cookie to the world Billie Jean King looking Philip Seymour Hoffman guy about that he fired him. And he really didn't even fire him. He just didn't re-sign him. You want to know why they didn't re-sign him? Not because of, I want to win. It's because it costs money. Now Rodgers is taking over. They've cut all the presidents of the other teams. Not shocking that they got rid of this one. They didn't really get rid of him. They just didn't re-sign him. So he wasn't even fired. All right. I somehow survived this guy's interview. I somehow do. If I did an interview, I should have probably gave it right after I saw this blue glass wearing prick. I was begging back for Richard Petty. I was begging for him back. We then go into now the Brad Treliving ding 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 ding. Let me explain something about this guy. I've heard a lot. He's done a good job. He signed Tanev. He improved the defense. He made a nice signing with the goalie. He made nice signings on defense with Ekman Larson and Tanev. But it's still a country club atmosphere. And he did the following trades. I am going to take... There's no way Treliving ding 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 should be the GM of this team. He should have been fired too. I don't have the stats in front of me, so give me 1 second. I know I should be looking at the camera. Someone tells me I should look at the camera. You're right. I should be looking at the camera. I'm not right now for a second, okay? Because I want to see how bad this was. Okay. Trying to calm down. Here we go. Where is he? He's so low on the list I can't find him. Oh, there he is. Okay. We traded a first-round pick in 2027 and back-check, paycheck, Nikita Grabenkin for a guy who scored 2 goals in 20 games. One of them was in the last game of the season, meaningless game. And in the playoffs, contributed nothing! 0 goals, 2 assists. The man played 33 games for the Leafs in a playoff series, and he has 6 effing points to show for it. And we traded a first-round pick and Nikita Grabenkin for Scotty Too Rotten. And we get the pleasure of seeing this jackass play 1 more year for the Leafs. Boy, that's going to be fun. How do you have a job after making that trade? But you talk to me, you're going to change the culture. Change the culture. The DNA of this team. Now they're talking about DNA. This team comes up with some rats. You want to know why the Leafs fans are pissed? All you do is come up with excuses. You blame fans. You blame DNA. What are you talking about? Name another organization that name one ever in sports that blames the fans. People buying your damn shirts, you blame them. It's too much pressure to play here. Too much. Too much. Too much. I've never seen it. Only this organization in this horribly run, led by Billie Jean King. Treliving ding 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 ding. Wasn't done there. He traded Fraser Minton and a first-round pick in 2026, which is supposed to be a really good draft. Potentially, could be what like a top 15 pick for a guy who took a colonoscopy in Game 7. He took on all fours a puck in the ass And we traded. He was on for every goddamn goal scored. Every goddamn goal scored against Florida. Carlo was on the ice, I swear to God. How in the world do you trade a first-round pick and Fraser Minton, one of your best prospects, for a guy who's on all fours in the net taking a puck in the ass? How's that not fireable? Those two trades, how do I not fire you that minute? Maybe because I'm a golf guy and, I run the European Tour. You don't run no European PGA Tour. The friggin' golf courses run it, bud. You just show up and collect dollars. I can't imagine it's that challenging to run a golf tour. I can't think it's tough. Maybe I'm wrong. It can't be that challenging. Golfers want to make money. People want to show up and watch golf. It's a pretty easy goddamn gig if you ask me. But you brag about it, you friggin' moron. You brag. Philip friggin' King. Philip Keith King. So do I think do I have trust in the Treliving ding 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 Boston Pizza dad friggin' empire? No, I have none. We're going to change the DNA. What's changed? You lost Marner for nothing. Boitano should have been traded 2 years ago, and we would have assets to look at right now, and we have none. He's gone. He leaves for free. You got used by his agent. Way to go, Shanahan and team. Nylander used you. Matthews used you. Everyone used you. Even the Edmonton Oilers organization, which is pathetic, got the first-round picks and somehow figures it out? Like, you're crazy. What should the Leafs do next, Bill? Well, why don't I try to answer that? First of all, if I hear John Tavares signed for the Leafs, I don't care what the dollar value is. Unless it's $775,000, which I believe is the league minimum, you're paying too much for this guy. What did he do in the playoffs? He's a power play specialist. What do you pay for a power play specialist these days? Hide him on the fourth line, put him on wing, and make a power play specialist? Is that worth $1 million? Jason Spezza did more than that. Sign him for $1 million. If he's signed for $5 million, I swear to God, I'll throw up on the screen. I will gag and throw up and show you my throw up. So no, you don't sign Tavares. You can't. You don't even have an option on Mitchie. Mitchie's going to tell you where he's going, not the other way around. That's how well you treated that asset. Way to handle it. Mitchie's going to. And I got nothing against Mitchie for doing it. I don't like Mitch. When they were blaming the fans, here's a thought process. Do you think the fans would be pissed off at you if you showed up and scored a goal in Game 7 or Game 6? Game 5, 6, and 7 where you never scored? If you showed up, you dove in front of a shot and blocked it? You actually tried and didn't stiffen up like a board? Do you think the Leafs fans would be mad at you? Would they be booing you? Maybe you have some responsibility in this as well. Maybe if you actually showed up. You're telling me if Marner scored a goal in Game 7, we'd be yipping at Marner? No, we wouldn't. So it would have took care of itself. But to do that, you have to show up. You have to actually try. You have to give an effort. You can't be a little baby and freeze. Because the pressure got to you. The little pressure. The fans were so mean to me. The only... I mean, it is laughable. Naming a... Oh, God. I wish I might cry. It's so disgusting. It's just... To be a Leaf fan is to have this management. It's so disgusting. Well, Mitch, you can go somewhere else, and hopefully hopefully he plays in front of nobody. I mean, we proved that he couldn't play in front of nobody either, because in the 2021 season, when no one was there, he had like a chicken against Montreal. Even the coaches, Paul McLean was making fun of him. So it couldn't have been the pressure there, right? Because there was no one in the fans. He still couldn't show up. But you go to wherever you want to, Mitchie. You go to Florida. You go to your little boy Tano. You go wherever you need to be. And you go win a cup. Hopefully they don't ask you any questions. Hopefully no one's there to cheer you on. And you think you're going to get any kind of like retirement, your number retired in those new places you're going to? I wish you the best of luck, Mitchie. Take your dad and your agent and your mom and everyone down. You go leave, Boitano. And when you come back to Toronto and get booed, you can go, oh, see, they're being mean to me. They're being mean. So not right. It's tough to play in Toronto because the fans are mean. Yeah. No, I know Gilmore and Clark always struggle to come back. They didn't win anything, by the way. They won nothing. Do you think they struggle to come back? Cliff Fletcher's got a job for life. Do you think the Leaf fans like... So you don't sign Tavares. You don't have an option with Marner. You find some way. If every other team can do it, you can do it too. The Tampa Bay Lightning, the Rangers, the Florida Panthers, they all find ways to tell a player he's gone. The Vegas Golden Knights, you're gone. You tell Morgan Riley, don't show up for training camp. You're not showing up. If you want to stay home all year, we'll pay you $7.5 million to stay home all year. Otherwise, don't show up, really. Give us 10 teams you want to trade to, just like they did to Ryan McDonough in Tampa Bay. Pick your team, and we'll try to make a trade for you. The Leafs need to get rid of Riley. He's got to go. If that's your DNA, he's been there the longest. That would change the DNA. For me, those are the you need to. I know he's got no trade clause, but you make it difficult on him. Remember the quote. You're not afraid to lose here. Be an a-hole. Treliving, ding, 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 ding. Be an a-hole and tell really we don't want you anymore. Sit home or give me the list you want to trade to. And you basically take the year off. I really think the Leafs shouldn't even care about making the playoffs next year. Because if you want to win, here's how you do it. You somehow, because every other team seems to figure it out, you find Connor McDavid's agent. You ride the slope, you ride the little slope, and you maybe put a little bird in his ear. Don't sign with the Edmonton Oilers on July 2nd. What you do is you wait, and we will give you the world in Toronto. You save the money, and you get Connor McDavid in 2026. Now, I don't know. The Toronto Maple Leafs have power. Rogers, hell, they own goddamn TV stations. Start blaring commercials. Whatever you need to do, you try to convince. You send Matthews. You send whatever. You send the players. You send everybody. I know it's not, there's collusion or something. You ride the slope. And even if you get caught for collusion, you're doing the right thing. You try. You just don't stop talking to McDavid, and you sell him on Toronto. That will get you the win. Do you think, Leaf fans, they will do that? I'm going to take a wild stab that I'm going to be looking at Tavares, really, and no McDavid in 2026. What does that mean? More suffering. I hope you enjoyed the video. Now, I'm going to have this video out before the game one starts. My prediction. Panthers in 6. Cheers.